One day we'll get a nice camera so we can just have it all recorded right onto the video and you don't have to sync that up in post. But anyway, welcome, everyone. Welcome, Michael. This is the inaugural episode of Post Punchline, NEK Comedy Club's home for all things funny, flawed, and farcical. This is your host, Dustin Warren. This is the newest podcast in the NEK Comedy Club family where we're going to focus more of a one-on-one style, getting to know the very funny people in our neck of the woods here in the NEK. And there was no better first guest for the show than the undisputed #1 funniest open micer in the NEK. Michael, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Dustin. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you're obviously one of the funniest ones in the group. Tell us a little bit about what got you into comedy. I know you didn't start here in the NEK, so why don't you give us a little bit of your background?
Yeah, so I've been a lifetime comedy fan, going back to when I was a big fan of David Letterman as a kid. I loved The Late Show and just thought he was hilarious. But as far as trying stand-up myself, I got into it in 2016. I was doing singer-songwriter open mics and struggling with stage fright. And so I figured maybe if I get comfortable speaking on stage, it'll translate to being more comfortable playing and singing. So that's how I started doing stand-up.
Very cool. So I understand, anyone that knows me knows I got into comedy watching Kill Tony. I understand you met one of the Kill Tony regulars before he was ever even on their radar. You want to tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so I started comedy in Denver, and at the time I started, there was a young buck on the scene by the name of William Montgomery. And I got to know him, really enjoyed his comedy, and I would see him at the open mics. I hosted a few open mics that he would come to, and I featured for him at a show in a suburb called Highlands Ranch at a pizza place. And then he went to L.A., and next thing I knew, he's on Kill Tony.
So was he always had that fiery, sort of like angry side to him, or was he a different comic before he got famous?
No, he stayed pretty consistent. He was that way back then. He would scream at times and then pull it back a little. He always had his notebook with him on stage. Just all comedy from the very beginning for him.
That's pretty cool. Hopefully William will see this, and then maybe he'll give the NEK Comedy Club a shout-out or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Although I emailed him a picture of him performing at my open mic, and I was like, hey, man, remember this? What a great time, and never heard back. So
man.
Maybe we could pay him for a cameo. I know he does cameo.
There we go. That maybe get him to headline the NEK Comedy Club Festival when that comes around, Gus.
There you go.
Oh, so you moved to Vermont at some point, and then what did you just stay into comedy? How did you keep going with it once you moved here to a very more rural spot, I'm sure, than the Denver area?
Yeah. So when I first got here to the NEK, I went to the Vermont Comedy Club open mic a couple times, and that was way too far to perform 3 minutes, driving 2 hours to do 3 minutes. And then I found out about the comedy open mic at Loading Dock in Littleton, New Hampshire, and that's a monthly one. So I started going to that one, and through that I found out about the one in Cabot at Harry's Hardware, and I met Gus there, and he told me about the one at Jasper's and the other ones that NEK Comedy does.
Very cool. No, I met the guys at NEK Comedy Club on Valentine's Day here in 2026. They were doing an open mic at Estelle's in Lindenville. And I give them some credit. I thought they were well established. They had everything so well put together. And I didn't know they had just been doing this a few months. So,
yeah, I know Gus with that timer. Thank God.
oh, we love you, Gus. Oh, so you mentioned Letterman. What are your other influences as far as stand-up comics or just funny things that kind of inspire you to be funny?
Dimitri Martin is a big one. I love one-liners. They're just so efficient. They're the most efficient form of a joke. And just how creative he is with his drawings and his songs. He's just like, multi-talented. So I really respect that. And I also like musical comedy, like Flight of the Conchords. They just had a reunion in LA for the Netflix's A Joke Festival. But my number one is John Mulaney. For me, he's just the funniest of all time. In particular, his special New in Town. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard at stand-up comedy as when I first saw that special.
Yeah, I wish I could say I could relate, but unfortunately, I'm not familiar with John.
Oh, he's the best.
Another one I'm gonna have to look into. Yeah. Been made fun of for not knowing. I kind of got stuck up with Carlin and Ron White were the two biggest that inspired me. So it's like I haven't gotten much beyond them. Big fan of Bill Hicks too. He's another.
Oh yeah.
I consider him in the vein of Carlin, where they're kind of talking philosophy and that kind of end of things, but they're doing it in a funny way.
Right.
That's what's done it for me.
Yeah. You gotta respect the classics and like the history of where stand-up came from. There's a great book by Cliff Nesterhoff called The Comedians, and it's like the history of stand-up comedy, and it's awesome. It talks a lot about Carlin and Bill Hicks. I think it mentions Ron White. Yeah,
no, I've mentioned the story. I think it was my first time on the other NEK Comedy Club podcast, Sap Lines and Storylines, about how I would memorize Ron White's bits as a kid. And my mother was a private investigator for the public defenders, so she'd host a lot of dinner parties for her coworkers, and I'd memorize those bits, and the attorneys really thought it was funny to hear a 7-year-old talking about getting thrown out of a bar in New York City.
Did you have a fake cigar and a 7-Up highball?
No, I if I was more committed to the bit, I would have, but no. So yeah, this is where it would have been good to have some more questions written out.
But we got a riff. Uh-oh. My greatest fear. To riff.
So how long did you said you started in 2016?
Yes.
So you've been at this about 10 years now?
Right.
Consistently, or?
There was a pretty big break because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I was pursuing it pretty consistently until the shutdown, and then it stopped me cold in my tracks, and then I didn't get back into it for a couple of years after that.
And did you restart in Colorado, or had you already moved to Vermont at that point?
I restarted in Colorado.
Okay.
Not as consistently, like when I first started. So I went to my first open mic and met someone who was like kind of a newbie too, and was talking to him, and he was like, "So you going to the next one?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? I went to this one." And he's like, "No, like people who are serious about this will hit like 3 and 4 mics a night." And I was like, "Oh man, I guess I'll start being serious about it." So I was hitting like 12 to 15 mics a week.
Yeah, no, that's the thing I've noticed. It's like if you want to drive 2 hours or 2.5 hours, you can hit one mic a night in this area.
Right.
And it's like, I hear like on Kill Tony, I hear them in Austin like saying, "Oh, I'm shooting for 7 to 10 mics a week." It's like, wow.
Yeah, with the rural scene, it's harder to get as much stage time, but it also the muscle you work in a rural scene more than in an urban scene is you have to write more material, because a lot of times it's the same crowd every month. For like a monthly mic in a small town, a lot of times it's the same people in the audience, so it forces you to write more jokes. Like, I mean, in the city, you could run a 5-minute set for a year and most people wouldn't see it twice because it's different audience members.
Oh. Resetting. All right. Take a break here and do another. Oh.
Did you get that bug?
I hope so. Damn thing. That's the joy of. That's how you know spring and summer is around the corner here in the NEK. All those mosquitoes coming out.
Those bastards.
Oh. So how about we take a swing this way? What was the first bit you ever wrote that really killed at an open mic or at a show?
The one about, okay, I'll just do it. My wife can't sleep without the sound of a fan. So every night I have to lay there going, "Can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph? Can I have your autograph?" That one's pretty old. I don't think that was the first one, but that's like the first good one that I remember that was pretty consistently successful. That's my whole goal, is like consistently. You know, a lot of times you'll do a joke and it'll kill with one crowd and then crickets with the next.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for those like consistent classics that I can put in the A file.
Yeah. There was another one I saw here. So is not that we want you to give away trade secrets, but how do you go about writing jokes, just in a general sense? Like, what's your process?
They have to happen for them to be good. It has to they have to just come to me. Like, I can't sit down and be like, okay, I am going to write jokes now. Here we go. I have to be out and about. A lot of times, driving, laying in bed, or on a walk are like the 3 times where the muse visits me. And I've found, especially if it's in bed, I have to get out my phone and jot down a note, or else it's gone. And I'm like, oh God, that was the one that was going to make me famous. Damn it.
No, I'm the same way. I'll get and it's even more random than that. Like, I remember a newer bit I've started that everyone seems to like. My dad just said, "Oh, I found my first tick on me for the year." And something about tick on the dick came to mind, and I came up with a bit about a lady going down on you, and she's like, "Oh my, I found a tick on your dick." And then my punchline is, "Oh sweet, I'm counting this as a threesome." So yeah, it's just the randomness of things as they come. I get that. That's definitely the biggest inspiration for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've also done music in the past. I've written some lyrics, and it's like, I can really sit down, and if I focus, I can get in a zone where I can do that. But I found I can do it a little bit with comedy, but it's definitely not as easy. Like, there's something about the organic chemistry of a moment coming together,
right,
in a joke that makes it better, as opposed to something when you're really sitting there trying to think.
Yeah. And I do music as well. I write music, and I find the same thing with music. Like, if I'm trying too hard to think of what it should be, it's not going to be good. Like, I need to let it go and see if it comes to me later.
That's fair. Excuse me. Getting a little on the personal end, something we all deal with on stage. How do you handle when you don't have a good set, or you've not, or you're bombing, as they say, or just have a crowd that's not into it? What's your key to getting around that? And
I drive home and say, I'm never doing this again.
oh,
I hate bombing. It's the worst, most awkward feeling. Like, I'll be up there and I'll start sweating, and then I'll just be like, all right, power through, and then get out of here and then quit. It's just an awful feeling. You never get used to it. And everyone bombs. But like, that's why I try to memorize my sets, or if I haven't memorized them, read them verbatim, because once I panic, I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. I might just freeze up.
That's fair. No,
bombing's just the worst.
I don't know if I've had the pleasure yet. I don't know what I'd call a bomb. I've had a couple of mics. There was Harry's Hardware a couple of months ago. They decided to have a cribbage tournament in the back.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And that was not fun to get through.
No.
And
that
then
was distracting.
And then my third ever open mic, I traveled all the way down to Dover, New Hampshire for an open mic down there. And it was like, I think 5 people in the audience and then like 30 comics. So, and I've noticed comics don't like to laugh if there's not an audience to laugh there.
Right.
If it's just open mic comics, they might tell you after the fact, hey, that was good and that was cool what you did there. But as far as like belly laughing to give you a good response on stage, they don't tend to do that.
They're just thinking about what they're going to say when they go up there.
Yep, for sure. And I'm sure there's probably the subconscious like, oh, he's not funnier than me, so I don't. I'm sure there has to be a bit of that competitiveness to it as well.
Could be, yeah. There are a lot of assholes out there, especially in comedy.
Yeah. Oh. Just come to an open mic at Jasper's Tavern and you'll see.
Asshole Central.
Gus, am I, as an NEK podcast, am I obligated to do a plug for Jasper's Tavern? Nope. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I want to after that one. Well, we can always cut that out. But
Jasper's Tavern, Asshole Central, come on down.
Okay, we're definitely cutting that. No, don't. Oh.
I should probably tell you this story because I don't think I've properly conveyed my love for stand-up comedy. In high school, I saw Dave Chappelle's special, Killing 'Em Softly, which is one of the greatest specials of all time. And I was so obsessed with it, I would listen to it while lifting weights, which is dangerous. You don't want to be laughing while doing bench presses, but I just loved it so much.
No, I listen to a lot of stuff while I'm at work or wherever I'm at, and I'll find that good stand-up routines get in the rotation pretty heavy. But yeah, you definitely don't want to bust out laughing while you're lifting heavy weights.
No,
that's not a good combination. So you've mentioned, was it Mulaney? Mulaney and Chappelle. If you had to name your top 5 stand-up comics.
Oh, man. Mulaney, Old Chappelle. Let me qualify. Mulaney, Old Chappelle. I'm going to say Dimitri Martin. I like Mike Birbiglia a lot. I like how genuine and heartfelt he is. And then Man. I was thinking about Andy Kaufman on the way here and how Andy Kaufman enjoyed pissing off the audience. And I wish I had that bone. Like, that is so funny to come out and do the opposite of what you're supposed to do and just piss everyone off. So I'm going to give it to Andy Kaufman.
Okay. That's fair. Those are 5 I'm going to have to look into and kind of broaden my horizons.
You need to read The Comedians, my friend.
I do.
The Comedians by Cliff Nesterhoff.
Is it an audiobook?
Probably.
I'll have to check that out.
I got the hard copy from my brother for my birthday, and it was one of the greatest books I've ever read.
No, one thing what got me actually doing stand-up myself was watching Kill Tony every week, and it's crazy watching that, how it's like you have to wade through a lot of, or sift through a lot of chaff, as they say, but they do find a lot of very funny people in there. 2 minutes? All right. Perfect. I got that synced in. Oh, wow, we've got 20 minutes already. That's pretty good.
Nice.
All right. There was another one I saw here. What was maybe the first or the most prominent moment you had, like a pinch me moment? Like, is this real, when you've been on stage doing stand-up?
The first time I performed at the New Talent Night at Comedy Works in Denver. So Comedy Works in Denver is the flagship, the absolute pinnacle of the Denver scene. Roseanne Barr came out of Comedy Works. It's Dave Chappelle's favorite venue to perform at. It's just an institution. And I think what a lot of people may not realize is there's a lot of physics that go into creating the perfect environment for comedy. So it's got to be dark so people aren't self-conscious. There's got to be good acoustics so the laughter bounces, you know? And like Comedy Works has it down. So like going around and doing all these open mics where you're getting a couple chuckles or, you know, people aren't paying attention, and then going to Comedy Works where this building was purposed for stand-up, and just like the wave of laughter, it was like a drug.
Definitely. There we go. Oh, goddamn mosquitoes again. Oh, all right.
Those dang skeeters.
So do you have a joke or premise that you've been working on for a while that you know there's something there, but you just haven't been able to craft it into a bit yet?
Yes. It's a story, and it's a true story. So I'm part of this group on Discord, this group of musicians. It's the singer from Weezer, Rivers Cuomo, has a Discord server with all these different channels, and one of those channels is for musicians, and we all share our music on there and like hype each other up and stuff. And so these guys formed a band. They met on the Rivers Cuomo Discord and started a band, and they released a song on Spotify, and it got 21,000 plays, and we were all like, oh my God, you guys did it, you're gonna be huge. And they were all amped up, feeling good. And then at the end of the year, the Spotify Wrapped, Spotify does their Spotify Wrapped, where each user gets like the list of the things they listened to most that year. And this woman on the Rivers Cuomo Discord channel posted this screenshot of her Spotify Wrapped, and she had played these guys' song over 17,000 times.
Wow.
So that's hilarious. It's sad they were like, because they thought they got 21,000 like distinct plays. But it was this lady trying to be supportive, but like basically being a bot, like hitting play and probably muting it and just letting it repeat. And I just think that is the funniest thing. I can't believe that I got to witness that in real life. But as you've just seen, it's too long and maybe too small of a payoff at the end. So I got to figure out how to whittle that down and how to phrase all of that.
No, there's something there, because that is the idea that. So that'd be like they only had like actually 5,000-ish real listens.
Yeah, they had 4,000 or 5,000 plays, which is still pretty good, but it's not 21,000.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe that's more funny to musicians because it's so hard to get people to listen to your music, and you put it on the internet and you're wanting to see the plays just magically go through the roof, like the algorithm discovers you or whatever. And then so to think that you got 20,000 plays, and it turns out it was this one person who's like, I'm going to help these guys out, play and walk away.
What, the way Spotify pays artists, they maybe got 25 cents for all those plays?
They might have got a discount on their monthly fees or whatever.
Oh, no! I remember when I was a volunteer radio DJ for 6 years for a little nonprofit station, and I remember one of my fellow DJs shared a story. I forget if it was Ween or one of those bands that has a little bit of commercial success, but they're not mega big. Mm-hmm. Like they shared their checks they got from Spotify for like, I think it was like 30 to 50,000 monthly listens, and it was like $3 or something silly like that.
That's criminal.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, no, that's why I've been more about going to local shows, especially as I've gotten into comedy. Like, it's shown me the local venues. Like, I'd much rather go see a local band, as much as you love the big names. It's like going to a big venue. There's a lot of pains in the ass to deal with, but when you can go to somewhere local and see local bands and support them, I enjoy myself a lot more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I went to a small show at the loading dock last weekend, and it was a lot of fun. And along in that same vein, I have gone back to buying CDs. Not like for every artist I like, but if there's an artist I want to support, I know they're not going to get any money from my Spotify plays, so I'll buy the CD because I've got a CD player in my car.
Yep. Those are rare these days.
Well, it's a 2011.
Oh, wow. I've got a 2018 truck, and I'm amazed that has a CD player.
Oh, nice.
No, I keep one. When I was doing the radio gig, I got the station into recording artists, and we did one really good album with a local band, and I kind of co-produced it. My name's on the back as producer, so I keep that in the truck just for sentimental reasons.
Cool.
Oh, all right. Is there anything you want to shout out for yourself? Any promotional stuff you want to share?
Nope.
That's fair. All right. Oh. Well, I don't know. I think this is a good run through for the first iteration, but there's one bit I want to close with because I know I mentioned to you, Mike, I'm a big fan. If any of you know that metal show out there listening, they closed with a segment they called the Throwdown, where they'd, which singer in this band was better, which album was better. And I think it's only appropriate for, and they would debate it for 2 minutes and let the audience decide. And I think it's only appropriate that we close out with that, and then you guys can let us know in the comments which one you think is right, or if we missed one. But I think we've already hinted at it here, but I think we have to go with who's the greatest stand-up comic of all time. And I'll get a 2-minute timer set, and that'll close out the show. Maybe. All right. So I'm going to go with George Carlin, and you would pick?
John Mulaney.
So, Carlin, he just did it all. Like, he did the, like, professional 60s comedian and had a very good career at that, and then he realized that wasn't him, and he pivoted and became wildly successful doing his very counterculture, make fun of the machine, and I think he did it better than anyone ever did, and probably ever will. But
John Mulaney is the best stand-up comedian of all time. Admit it. Admit it.
Dustin. I don't think you're going to get me to admit it.
Dustin.
I just gave a...
Say it. Say his name. Say John Mulaney.
Well, I can say his name, John Mulaney, but
he admitted it.
But I still think Carlin is the better comic.
Okay, here's my real argument. John Mulaney's material isn't all good. He's not been the most consistent stand-up of all time, but New in Town is the funniest special ever. Like, ever. It's so replayable. It's like aged so well for the most part. And I just have to think that the best special ever made can only be made by the best stand-up of all time. John Mulaney.
Well, you talk about replayable specials, and we're going to have to end on this because that was the 2-minute timer there. But I was just listening to Carlin's 96 Back in Town, and I always catch that a few times on an election year because he closes with his bit about politicians and how everyone says they suck, and no, it's just really the public sucks, and he says, I don't vote, and closes with his classic line is like, I know you all can go vote, and I'm sure you'll have a great time, and I hope your country improves. Me, I'll stay home. I'll be doing essentially the same thing, but when I get done masturbating, I'll have a little something to show for it. And and that's why I love Carlin, because it's like, that's funny, and it's very true, at least in my opinion. But opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Right. And here's mine.
No better way to close it out there. That has been the first episode of Post Punchline here on NEK Comedy Club. Thank you all for watching, and that is it.
Peace out. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you, Michael.